Perfect. Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, you are watching Dirty Fanatics United. Hit that like button, leave a subscribe. It is episode 84. As always, I'm your host, Chase, followed by my co-hosts, Philip and Cody. Philip, Cody, what's going on, man? You ready to talk some Falcon football?
Yes, sir.
Always, man. Always up for talking Falcon football.
Yes, sir. We got a bunch of breaking news coming out, a bunch of cuts, a bunch of signings, trades happening no less than 2 hours ago. Falcons trade for a linebacker. We're going to talk about it all here on Dirty Fanatics United. Hit that like button. Leave a subscribe if you haven't already. Headed to the comment section. The Sports Nuts is in the chat. Said hashtag DFU. Nick Bungalow in the chat said Matthew Judon. A lot to talk about tonight, guys. Before we get into it, Philip, how's your day been going? How's your weekend? Or however, you know, what's been going on? Cody, same with you. And then we'll get right into the show.
And like week-wise, it's been a week. You know, it is. You know, we all know how it is. Always wait for the weekend. Sports-wise, though, we got some good little topics. We got some, you know, some good info coming in this past week that I like to hear. You know what I mean? So, other than that, man, we just blessed to be here another day.
Absolutely, Cody. What's been going on, man? Busy work week, obviously. How you been doing, dog?
Yes, you know, just busy, like you said, busy with the work week, man. Just trucking right on through. Thank God it's hump day. We're halfway there, boys.
I sometimes think hump day is worse than a Monday because you're so close to Friday, you want to be off so bad. And it's just like, dude, it's only hump day. Like, where is Friday at? But definitely a day closer to Friday. Somebody here in the comment section, no other than Mama. Happy Wednesday, DFU. Happy Wednesday, Mama. Falcon fans, the Atlanta Falcons go out and Matthew Judon for a trade, third-round draft pick. Terry is in the kitchen cooking. Falcon fans, Philip, Cody, before we get to the comment section, obviously want to hear their opinions. So comment section, get active. Let me know what you think about this trade. Was it a good trade? Give me a 1. If it was a bad trade, drop a 2 in the chat. Philip, Cody, how are we feeling about this trade?
And I feel like we got the steal on this. I'm gonna just be honest. We gave them basically a chicken nugget for Matthew Judon. We haven't seen a guy like this had any pressure like this since maybe obviously Vic Beasley's year, but consistently we haven't seen anybody like this since John Abraham. You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's crazy. It's a great feeling to feel, man. A guy that's second on percentage of pressure, 11.8% behind Nick Bosa, which is the best pass pressure. He's got that's crazy to me. We got the second best pass pressure, and like guy in the past league for the past 2 years. I think I've seen, but yeah, I just feel like it's a very big steal.
Dog, where's number 9? He's gonna have to change the jersey number. Don't know what he'll rock in Atlanta, but Matthew Judon. Obviously coming off of that injury last year, but still, guys, he got injured in week 4 last year, guys. Look how many sacks he had in week 4. 4 sacks, week 4, 13 with 3 assists. That's 4 games, guys. He had 4 sacks in 4 games. That's a sack per game. 2022, he had 15.5 sacks, 12.5 sacks in 2021. 6 sacks in 2020, 9.5 with the Ravens. He really started clicking when he got with New England. That scheme there, he started really, really clicking on. So, ready to watch some more tape on Matthew Judon. Cody, your thoughts of Matthew Judon, a surprising signing. We kind of saw it coming with the news of Trice being out all season. But are we surprised? Were you surprised when you saw the news pop up? I mean, was this something you were happy about? You were kind of expecting, or took you by storm like it did me? Because I did not see it coming, but I'm 100% with it.
Yeah, no, I didn't see him trading for anybody. I figured, our defensive line and linebacking core was, deep enough and talented enough that they'd probably just stay where they were at and focus more on the secondary. Watching some of this guy's highlight, the two things that, immediately came to me was he's relentless and he's got a motor, man. I watched him several times, get, come up off the ground and still pull people down. There was a sack that he had against Big Ben, and we all know how tough it was to get him on the ground. And, man, he falls to the ground, but, he's got a hold of his jersey, and he finds a way to yank his big ass down. And it's just like it was the relentlessness that he had that was most impressive to me. I think it's a great move for the Falcons. Like you said, the minimum sacks that he's had, I think one was four.
Four last year with 4 games.
Last year when he was hurt, and then it looked like 4 his rookie year, and then everything else. I think the next lowest total was 7, and I think it looked like he had 66.
Let me pull that up for you, Cody.
Yeah, there you go. 6.5 sacks in his career. Like, we didn't have how many sacks did we have last year?
66 and a half career sacks was the record-setting sack number for Atlanta, and that was John Abraham.
Right. And so again, it's to Philip's point, we haven't seen somebody get the quarterback on the ground like that since John Abraham. So obviously this guy brings that pressure, and actually like I said on our last podcast, he finishes. And that's the big thing. I always love pressure, defensive pressure and stuff like that, but he finishes the play. So that's what we're looking at. Great signing. And this is probably my favorite thing about the whole thing is not only do we get a great talent, we don't give up much either. I know people love draft picks. I understand people love draft picks. But I rather have proven NFL talent than a lottery ticket to a guy who may bust. And to me, this is trading in your lottery ticket for something that's going to be more surefire. You've seen the tape. You've seen, you can see where he's at. You can see the consistency. Again, to my point last time about what this team needs to do, consistency. And this guy is consistent. So it's a great trade for the Falcons. You don't give up much. Obviously, it must not do too much to the cap because I didn't see anybody have to move money around. I didn't see any of that. So it was a great move by Terry and the boys up front in the front office.
Yeah. Terry finds a guy that wants a contract extension. The Patriots give him an offer. He's not pleased with that offer. And Terry scoops on in and says, hey, we'll take it and we'll worry about the money next year after we get the Super Bowl ring. Terry cooking, man. Love to see it. You are going to have to pay this guy next year when it comes down to the contract situation. You will have to pay this guy next year. But if he can contribute to over 8 sacks, 8 to 9 or even 6, that's more than any Falcon player last year on the roster. So definitely I'm cool with signing a guy like this and giving him that contract if he can hold par to what he did his entire season really here in the NFL. Atlanta Falcon fan, shout out to President Staff in the chat, said, big move, Terry. My guy Caleb said, we got our edge rusher. Absolutely. Falcon fans wanted an edge rusher. You got him. The edge rusher is in the house. The Sportsman says, my good friend Nick from 680 AM, the fan, said, A+ move by the Falcons. Atlanta Falcons fandemic in the chat says Terry has solidified his GM of the year bid. Absolutely, because I think now Falcon fans can assure that you have that top 10 defense again.
But here's
you went out, you got that vet, you went and got somebody to bring in that presence like Calais Campbell. I mean, maybe if you land this Justin Simmons, Falcon
I was about to say, maybe this is a sign for Justin Simmons. Hey, man, we got a legit thing going on here. Let's move on into Atlanta.
If you land Justin Simmons in Atlanta with Matthew Judon, Terry has won GM of the offseason. I don't care, preseason, whatever you want to say. You have solidified this defense if you go and get a Justin Simmons, and you've got a Matthew Judon now here on your roster. Philip, Cody, your thoughts of Justin Simmons? It's been a 2-day visit down in Atlanta. Obviously visited with the Saints for 1 day. He comes all the way to Atlanta, visits Atlanta 2 days. Today was that second day. Still no news. I'm sure he's got a ton of offers he's got to go back and lay out on the desk. But I remember last year clearly Jesse Bates posting on Twitter about Justin Simmons, saying bring him to the building. They were like maybe some screenshots initiated there in that post that I seen. I wish I could still find it.
I know what you're talking about.
But I think there's a chemistry there. I think maybe this is why he made the 2-day visit. I say Falcon fans, be patient. Philip, Cody, let's talk about the significance of getting a Justin Simmons with Jesse Bates, a seasoned Grant now in a new system, hoping to find his spot in the NFL. Troy Anderson, that's going to be blitzing damn near every play he's on the field. He will probably not be in coverage at all. Then you have a Caden Lewis, the ball hawk, the Nate Lemon, the call player, the green dot guy, Nate Lemon. Falcon fans, this defense could be crazy. Philip, Cody, your thoughts?
I mean, just looking at if we get somebody like Simmons for like my thing, there is, the secondary right there, safety wise, it's going to go from a B straight to an A plus.
Absolutely.
You would have
your weakest point is now your strongest point.
Yes, exactly. And then I'm not really too worried about what the linebackers or, like what the D line's got going on. You know what I mean? Because I'm confident from last season that they're going to bring on from what they had from last year to bring on more to this year, especially with guys we still guys like Brandon Dolores and stuff like that. It's learning coming
EQ, appreciate you tuning in, brother. Hit that
you got people like Arnold Ebiketie it seems like he's wanting it a little bit more this year. Got a little fire under him, so
getting the pressure. Can he get the sacks? I want to see the sacks.
Maybe with this signing, that's going to push him to want him to do better, or it's going to help, or Judon's going to come in and help him.
Guess what, buddy? This guy may take your playing time because Zach Harrison is going to play this year.
This might be the Dwight Freeney, to Ebiketie, like Dwight Freeney was to Vic Beasley. This might be that might be a similar, thing going on there. We don't know. We'll have to see. But hey, I'm all for it.
Cody, right before we get to you, brother, shout out to EQRC in the chat, man. He says, hello, Falcon fan. EQ, glad to see you here tonight, brother. Hit that like button. Share to a Falcon fan. Get us to 1K, man. We're at 412 subscribers before the podcast started. Whoever that 13th person was that unsubscribed, that's for you, sir. Falcon fans, we are talking Falcon football. Robert Stevens in the chat says, good evening, gentlemen. Robert Stevens, guys. Last week's special guest, Mr. Robert. Shout out to Mr. Robert, man. We will be in touch with Robert. We ain't forgot about you. Busy week. Preston Sapp in the chat said, what we looking like on the Simmons talk? Really, it's still a void. It's still in the air right now.
But I will say it's better. It looks so much better in our point of view than it is New Orleans. He only stayed a day, and from what I heard, it wasn't even a full day. You know what I mean? He left there. Went there for a couple hours that night, and then started flying straight over. So he stayed here 2 days. So that's a good sign from what this
Absolutely.
point.
Cody, before we get too far back into the Simmons talk, I want your idea. It's obviously still with the Simmons talk, but what could this defense be, dude, with a Justin Simmons in their backfield with a Jesse Bates, a young Richie Grant, as I said, in a new scheme now, looking for a new beginning here with this new defensive coordinator, Jimmy Lake. Cody, what could this mean? I mean, and your defense is now possibly, they had the secondary ranked second or third in the division. Now you go from second to third to the best secondary in the NFC South. Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it would be absolutely huge for the Falcons to get Simmons on, in the black and red and playing for us. What that essentially means, man, is that you can shut down one half of the football field. You put him over there with AJ Terrell. You put him on that side. You put him, if Richie Grant or if Clark Phillips is having a rough day, you move him over. Now you've got, two veteran, shutdown guys in AJ and Simmons on either side of the field. And now you have to attack Richie Grant, who, we all three feel is going to take that next step forward. And now not only is Richie Grant getting better because he's getting targeted more, you're going to see that dog come out in him because, he's one of those guys that he's, you can pick on me, for my size and all that stuff. but he's got that dog, man. So I think that only helps, Richie Grant, and only helps Clark Phillips to have a guy like that in there. The other thing too that it makes up for helps is it helps the defensive line. You get a lot of those coverage sacks now that you can take away, some of these guys, some of these teams' best 1 and 2 wide receivers with Simmons and AJ. So now Grady gets to eat. Now now Amamata gets to eat. So now you're creating better situation for your defensive line too. So not only does it help out the secondary and make our secondary better, it helps out our defensive line. And again, that's something that we absolutely need. Maybe it helps out in our advocating because he does get pressure, but it seems like he's always that second behind. Well, now that you got Simmons and AJ shutting down, wide receiver 1 and 2, maybe the quarterback has to hold on to the ball just that half second longer. And now Ebikete's got you on the ground. So it would absolutely be huge. Now, as far as I've heard, there's not much news going on. And normally what they say, no news is good news. He did spend 2 days here in Atlanta. Nobody's really heard much. Nobody really knows what his team's thinking, what he's thinking. But
a lot of times it's good to see.
Exactly. And that's a good thing is that means he's thinking about it.
It got real quiet when Calais Campbell came to town.
I was about to say, but Terry, he keeps everything on the low. He done the same thing with Jesse Bates as well. We waited a couple of days, if you don't remember, for that too. Yeah. And then boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the question here from EQRCs is, can we pay these great players?
They're still, I've seen options.
I think the way that you could really pay these players if you make that extension to AJ Terrell before the season starts. Has AJ shown that in preseason? Or, I mean, not in preseason, but my bad. In training camp, OTAs, has AJ showed that he deserves that extension? I don't know. I'm just a fan. But to sign a Justin Simmons, to bring in some money, maybe you trade Taylor Heineke. He's already took the team-friendly deal. Maybe you trade him. I don't know if you get anything off the cut. Again, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a true Atlanta Falcon fan. I do not mess with the numbers.
I've seen somewhere
the money. I'm not that type of guy. I'm just a fan. Somewhere. But I feel like you could extend AJ Terrell, and you're going to get money for extending AJ Terrell. It's going to free up space. So I think that if you see an AJ Terrell extension anytime soon, expect the Justin Simmons is what I see.
Well, and the other thing is, you do save, I think it's like $2.6 million if you get rid of Tyler Heineke. Okay. You can also get rid of quarterback 3, which would save you money. You can extend guys like Jake Matthews. You can extend an AJ Terrell and free up the money to do so. It's not, the numbers are insane because of how big they are, but the money's there. I mean, again, this is what Terry Fontenot was great at when he was in New Orleans. How many times did it seem like the New Orleans Saints were $155 million under the cap, and somehow him and Mickey Loomis extended, stretched, pushed, turned into signing bonus, whatever, and they brought in some of these guys like this. So
reconstruction
again, so it's just one of those things. Terry knows what he's doing. I trust in Terry, and Terry we trust. And so if the money has to be there, Terry will find a way to get the money there.
Absolutely, man. Hit that like button. The Birdcage says there's 10 people in here and only 3 likes. Get these likes up, man. Hit that like button, man. As you heard here, we are talking Falcon football. Shout out to the Birdcage for tuning in tonight, man. Birdcage, another diehard Atlanta Falcon fan. Check him out on his podcast, the Birdcage LLC. Mr. Diehard in the cage, he says, Thursday, tomorrow night, you may just catch me in the cage with the man, the Birdcage. So check us out Thursday night, the Birdcage Live. Check him out. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. He said, can we set things up we can set things up by restricting our contracts. AJ's contract needs to be reconstructed. That's something you can see. We just mentioned here. If you get that, and maybe I don't know, Jake Matthews just reconstruction. Maybe he does it damn near every year. So I'm not sure. But there's other ways to get money here.
Brady as well.
That Simmons will be coming. Nick Bongolo in the chat says, sign Simmons now. Cheats Gaming said, what's up, fellas? Cheats. Shout out to you, sir. Hit that like button. Leave a subscribe. I'm talking Falcon football. Falcon fans, enough with the defense. Enough with the rumors. Enough of what was in breaking news with the, obviously, the that was the big trade that they did today. I really think that was a great trade, and then another cheap acquisition by TF. Absolutely cooking, as Philip likes to say. Terry is cooking. The offense. Let's talk about this offense, man, because from what I hear, it's deep ball Wednesday down in Flowery Branch. Okay, you heard me. All right, I said it's deep ball Wednesday down in Flowery Branch. Drake London snagging every pass thrown his way, whether that's with one hand, one toe, an ear, his calf. He's catching the ball. All right.
I don't know who was guarding him today, but God bless your soul, bro. You got body.
Philip, Cody, you've seen the performance that Michael Penix gave you a quarter and a half. That's watching a Kirk Cousins practice every day. What could Kirk Cousins bring to this Atlanta Falcons offense? And we've talked about it all offseason. You got a Tyler Algier, you got a Bijan Robinson, a Darnell Mooney, a once Rondell Moore, now a Ray McLeod that I think is going to step into that magnificently. A Cordell Hodge.
Got Sean today.
Tight end Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I mean, you
Charlie
have
Warner.
Charlie Warner. You have targets for this team.
What's his name? You got I thought I said Ryan Fitzpatrick, but you got Fitzpatrick.
You had Jakeem Grant, but we talked about how he's off of 3 season-ending injuries, and
Blood's already hurt.
Second practice in Atlanta, and he is no longer healthy.
Bro came in for one day, broke AJ's ankles, and said he was done for the day.
Shit. God.
He broke them ankles and said
he did. Done. He did them. That was Grant. I mean, he torched AJ in that one.
Buddy say he's done. He's done his shit for the year. He's gone.
I mean,
he said he's out of there.
Sheesh. Cody, Philip, how are we feeling about these sites coming out of Flowery Branch? These rumors about these receivers, Kyle Pitts not dropping a ball in the past week. Drake London goes stupid today on Hump Day. Philip, Cody, your thoughts?
I ain't gonna lie, just like looking at what Penix did Friday, and then like just paying attention to some of the throws. He's learning certain ball placements from Kirk. You could tell. All right, like so. Just imagine if Kirk was in there at that time. 100% that ball is going to be completed sometimes. But I give it to Penix. 9 for what?
9 for 16, 114 yards.
114 yards, Put us down there in positions twice to score. But, it is what it is. Some guys
did score off of a turnover, got the fumble, scored, touchdown, converted point.
But, it is what it is. But looking at what we got going on in practice this past week and last week, Kirk's just continuing to dominate first and second team defenses, bro. And to me, it seems like he's going to be a problem. Like he's ready to go back out there and do this now. I feel like it's a different type of Kirk. I don't know why. I feel like we've seen him do this plenty of times, like in the regular season, but I've never seen his stats in any other training camp like this. The bragging of him, and it just seems like the receivers and tight ends and et cetera, they finally seem like they're happy, ready to catch a ball, man. Like catch it one-handed, whether it's Kyle Pitts dominating Jesse Bates, which is the best safety.
That's crazy.
He's just dominating him, throughout this whole camp, preseason. It's crazy to think, but yeah, Kyle Pitts is doing that. I don't think I've seen one matchup with Bates and Pitts that Pitts has lost.
Absolutely.
He's just dominating. It's to the point Raheem is picking on Jesse Bates about his overall in that. I mean, it's just, good little things like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see the veteran side of everything, because I don't really think we have too many young guys other than Bijan on the offense, really. This is his first year without being a rookie, so I don't think we got anything like that. I'm ready to see the veteran side of every single player because they seem like they're all different now.
Year 2, usually that big jump for these rookies that come in and have a pretty decent year. Some Falcon fans were saying Drake London degressed, but again, Marcus Mariota. I'm ready to see what this offense can bring. I mean, seeing these clips, and I'm like, okay, now we just have to convert what we're doing right now on this practice field when it comes Sundays. Can you come to the bins and do what you did in the training camp videos in the videos that you hype Falcon fans all through OTAs? Can you do that all season long against these Kansas City Chiefs, all these big teams that we play this year, the Philadelphia Eagles, another team that you can look at? Cody, can Kirk Cousins and this offense with these weapons, as long as everybody stays healthy, offensive line stays healthy, can the Falcons make a deep run this year?
Oh, not only will they make the deep run, I mean, the way that it's shaping up, man, is we're knocking on the NFC Championship door, man, with the ability to go to the Super Bowl.
Detroit, we coming for you.
It's just one of those things, man. It's showing how good Kirk Cousins really is. I know Atlanta isn't really Kirk's home; it's his wife's, but it's like home to Kirk. You know, he talked about living here, in his wife's parents' basement for a while, and he knows the area, and it feels like he's comfortable here, and he enjoys being here. Man, it's unreal to think about what this offense can do. I know, people probably think I'm crazy when I say that 34 points a game is, every game, or to average 34 points isn't out of the realm of possibility. It just feels like all these guys are getting better and getting stronger and getting more physical. They were talking about Drake London, how chill he really is, outside, but when he gets on that football field, he taps into this aggression that he taps into, man, and just turns into somebody totally different. And you're seeing that in training camp with the one-headed catches, dominating the first string defense, taking people to task. And then the same thing with Kyle Pitts, man. It feels like Kyle Pitts has got something to prove, that he wants to live up to that nickname of being the unicorn. He wants to show you that, hey, I'm not some, washed up, tight end out of Florida. I am who I am advertised as being, and that's being one of the best damn tight ends in the NFL. And I think he's proven that. If you can absolutely continue what you're doing in training camp and put it to teams on Sunday. Is Philip laughing at the Panther soul thing?
Yeah, but
I was going to say
the Panther soul.
It's going to be ugly for a lot of teams because, again, it's something that we continuously bring up. Good, pick your poison, man. You've got Bijan, you've got Tyler, you've got Drake, you've got Mooney. You've got the weapons, and it seems like Kirk and this offense are, to me, where they should be as far as chemistry-wise. They're way ahead of what most teams are. I know that, I understand it's training camp and you're going up against twos and stuff like that. But at the same time, they are practicing against their ones as well. And you continuously get highlight reels. My phone blows up constantly. Kirk Cousins deep to, Kyle Pitts over Jesse Bates. Kirk Cousins deep to, Mooney, for a 65-yard gain. My phone's exploding constantly with and we haven't seen this. Again, this is not something that we've seen since probably the 2016 and 2017 Atlanta Falcons. So what does Kirk bring? Again, he brings that professionalism, he brings the consistency, and the ability to put the ball where the ball has to be. And that is the big thing, and that's why these guys are going to flourish this season.
Just slinging balls everywhere, Cody. Balls all over the place.
Pause.
Chicks deep the dig ball.
Pause.
Falcon fans, you are listening to Dirty Fanatics United, man. Hit that like button. Leave a comment if you want to talk Falcon football with the three guys here on the podcast, man. Falcon fans, the DFU flag will be in the podcast room here very soon. Shout out to the flag man on Facebook. Got me tuned up. He's making me one. So
what is it? This right here on the screen in the background?
It'll be this background. Yes, that'll be the
I'll
flag.
be over there to take the flag. I got you.
It'll be right here on display, man. Can't wait for it to be in the man cave.
You said right here. I got you.
Nah, dude. Falcon fans, we are bringing you your daily Falcon content, daily breaking news, daily. As you've seen, Judon is signed, and the Dirty Fanatics United is live here, bringing you Falcon coverage. The next tweet here I have for you is from Kelly Price. She says, Justin, Falcons announced they have signed cornerback William Hooper and safety Josh Thompson. In corresponding moves, they released running back Robert Burns and receiver Austin Mack. Austin Mack, guys, the guy that was coming out of the CFL that was supposed to be the big-time receiver. He was supposed to be like he was a stud over in the CFL or whatever that league's called. Philip, you remember Austin Mack because he was supposed to be really good. He was in the overseas, but any surprises there, guys, or just another update? Jay Rizzle, hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that like button. If you hate the Panthers, we hate the Panthers with you. We definitely do not like
he's a Panthers fan. That's my friend.
Oh, yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button, man. Hit the subscribe, leave a like. We talk Falcon football, but we do around the league news, and why not go ahead and let's enter around the league news? Cody, you brought a decent topic, and it's obviously something that people's been looking at. I first seen it when it come out. JJ McCarthy, the injury. I mean, this is devastating for a young player like JJ McCarthy. Cody, your thoughts on JJ having the meniscus tear, having to have surgery on the meniscus tear, and then initially being out for the whole season?
Yeah, well, it's like you say, it's definitely unfortunate for the young man. I hope he recovers and gets well soon. Even though he's not a Falcon, you never want to see anybody. As much as I hate the Saints, I don't want to see anybody get hurt like that. It's unfortunate, and hopefully he bounces back. I was definitely looking forward to seeing JJ McCarthy. When we played the Vikings, to see Kirk duel his own team, his old team against his replacement. But
it's gonna be a fun dog walk now.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, it was probably gonna be a dog walk anyways. The Vikings suck, but it's unfortunate, and you hate it for the young man. And like I say, hopefully he bounces back. But now it's Atlanta's job to go into Minnesota and absolutely, like Philip said, dog walk them. In their unfortunate situation.
The Sports Nut says, guys, Shefty reporting Ritter expected to be released this week by the Cards. Sheesh. That's all I have to say about that.
Desmond, what you got going
Jordan
on?
Addison is out as well. That is very true. I did see where he was carted off today, but I did see where his coach expected him to be okay. Don't know if maybe they just went ahead and carted him off because he was at practice. So you remember last year
Justin Jefferson punching the air right now.
You remember last year Akuda? Remember, he got hurt at training camp. He was carted off, but initially was okay
come back
and was cleared to play. So Jordan Addison may be back. Shout out to Dave. Dave in the chat said, good evening, guys. Dave, hit that like button, brother. Glad to have you here tonight with us. Dave, we are talking Falcon football, babe. 15 live viewers, man. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. You were listening to Dirty Fanatics United. Philip, Cody, we've talked about the breaking news. We talked about D-Led and the tweets. It's Deep Ball Wednesday down in Flowery Branch. Let's speak a little bit on some of these new signings that you brought. You brought a defensive back, Josh Thompson, per Schultz. This was with losing DeMarco Helms and Harrison Hand in the first preseason game. Thomas can provide depth in the secondary and proven special teams. Falcon fans, you have added a lot of special team players when it comes to this team's roster. I don't know if this has got something to do with the new kickoff return, the new rules. I don't know if it's got something to do with we're still looking for that fourth or fifth receiver on this roster. So you're signing later receivers, you're signing DBs because you don't know what's going to happen in the DB room. If you don't, let's just say per se, you don't sign Justin Simmons. You don't go get Justin Simmons. You have to rely on now Richie Grant, okay? Or you can maybe take D. Alfred out of the slot, maybe, and put him at the nickel. If you don't get Justin Simmons, are you still worried about possibly the weakest link on your football team? Philip, Cody.
Personally, no, man. Since we got, today makes, of course, what's his name, Matthew Judon, we're getting a guy that puts pressure from making sacks. That's going to prevent other people making pressure, sacks, whatever. As long as that line can get there, you ain't really got to be scared too much about your secondary doing a whole lot. You know what I mean? That's going to make their job easier for them. You know what I mean? Yep. If we're getting pressure, getting sacks, that's easy on AJ, Clark, Richie, Jesse. All they got to do is just make sure their guys locked down. That's it, man. That's done for today. You know what I mean? Not too worried about it, but we just have to make sure we get that pressure and sacks. You know what I mean? Now, if
So,
not, then
let me ask you this, Philip. While I'm thinking about it, while it's on my screen right here with my notes right on my phone, did the Atlanta Falcons maybe possibly call for Hassan Reddick and realize that trade was not possible, so they went with a Judon coming off of a bicep injury?
Maybe.
You take the chance in Judon, but you don't grab the Hassan Reddick, which I'm cool with. Judon is still a beast.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Coming off of a bicep injury that ended his career last year or his season last year, but he's back, man, and I think he's coming back with vengeance. So he wanted the contract extension. They offered it to him. He felt like he was worth more, wanted out of there, so they traded him for a third-round pick. Cody, if you don't get the Simmons, if you don't go get the – I don't really know anybody other than Justin Simmons that's big name safety right now. So if you don't go get Justin Simmons, who are you rocking with potentially on the roster in that position?
Man, I think you continue to rock with Richie and Clark Phillips, man. Would it suck not to get Simmons? Absolutely. But at this point, I think that Clark Phillips and Richie are ready to take that next step and fill in now. Are they as good as Simmons? Probably not. But at the same time, those guys have shown the improvement, going forward that, I feel confident if you don't get Simmons that, you're probably not as good in the secondary as you'd like to be, but you're definitely not. We're not as deep, obviously, but we're not devoid of talent in that situation. So, I definitely would like to see Simmons here, but I also feel like if you don't get him or something doesn't work out, you'll be okay with Clark Phillips and you'll be okay with Richie.
Clark Phillips III, a guy that we've talked about tremendous times here on the podcast. Philip, I'm gonna get that on the soundboard. I'm gonna have you record that. I'm just going Richie during the live podcast. Shout out to Philip and his sound effects, man. Falcon fans, Clark Phillips III, a young guy coming into his second year. You've seen the hype. You did not see him dressed up in preseason, which tells me Clark Phillips III is a very important player.
That tells me he's him. You feel me?
Chat, let me know how you feel about Clark Phillips III. Are you rocking with Clark Phillips III, or are you kind of digging the Mike Hughes now, strapping down some opponents as well as Clark Phillips has? Definitely a good, healthy competition there between those two. But comment section, let me know right now, Mike Hughes or Clark Phillips III. 16 live viewers, all 16, leave a comment, man. Who do you pick, Clark Phillips III or Mike Hughes? Spam the chat now. Shout out to Wallace Smith in the comment section. Said, what's going on, fam? I'm coming in late. That's all right, Wallace. We appreciate you tuning in, brother. Hit that like button and participate in the Mike Hughes or the Clark Phillips III. Let me know what you think here. Millie Mills in the chat said, DFU. What it do? What's up, y'all? What's up, Millie Mills? Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Hit that like button. Who would you rather have, Millie? Mike Hughes, Clark Phillips III. It can be a fan favorite decision, or it can be off of who you truly, genuinely think is going to win that position. LaMarcus Boyd said, I'm rocking with Clark Phillips III, baby. EQRC said the third. Millie Mills said, it only took a third, huh? Let's effing go, boys. Rise up, Millie Mills. Jay Drizzle said Phillip was solid at Utah. He was a very locked down cornerback in Utah. He was shorter, but he still led their division or conference in interceptions that season in his senior year in Utah. So you bring up a great point there, Drizzle. He definitely was solid in Utah. Drizzy, my bad. And then even with the Falcons, the last 3 to 4 games of that season, Clark Phillips III was pretty catching on there towards the end.
Whoever
I was
stepped up, he sat down.
You can look at Zach Harrison, DeMarco Hellams, all these guys. That's why I was so hurt about the DeMarco Hellams, because he played so well in the last 4 games of the season.
I felt bad for whoever stepped in Hellams' way last year, bro, because whoever
Millie Mills brings up a comment here, Cody. We talked about this guy last week. This guy here, Kevin King. Kevin King with the interception in his preseason game. Phillip called him out as one of the players that stole the show. Cody, Phillip. Cody, we'll start with you first and then rotate back to Phillip. Kevin King, is this a guy that you are looking for to make the roster first off? Let's say to make the 53-man roster that you have to make here very soon. And does he potentially get playing time this year here in Atlanta? Or do you need to see more in the preseason? It's too early.
Yeah, I'd like to see more, but he definitely made an impression in the Dolphins game, man. He was quick, man, to the ball, so I definitely want to see more before I'm like absolutely rocking with it, but he's definitely got that potential to, be in that secondary room and, provide depth and, may even be a, good rotational piece if, Clark Phillips needs a break or if Richie Grant needs a break, I would say. So it's just one of those things, man. I definitely want to see more, but I see the potential in him for sure.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mellow Steve here in the comment section. He said, I heard Casey Washington has been pretty solid in practice. Casey Washington has been a dog in practice. Appreciate you tuning in, Mellow Steve. Hit that like button. Leave a subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that comment section, man, as you already have here. Philip, I think you know who Mellow Steve is.
That's Jacob.
So, Jacob, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to Jacob. Dave in the comment section said, what an indictment. He says, what an indictment on Ebiketie. Either him or Malone or both might not make it this year roster. Philip, Cody, we've talked about Ebiketie.
It's going to be Malone.
To not see him make the roster would be tough. I will say that. To not see Ebiketie make the roster would be really, really tough. But this last name here, Malone, a guy that's coming up on year 3, year 4.
He's had a Malone year, bro.
A Malone.
He's had a Malone year.
Alone on the sideline. Want to see more of D'Angelo Malone. Got to see more. I like D'Angelo Malone, dude, and I like what he did in the preseason game, but I got to see more. I got to see more out of Malone. He did kind of play pretty well preseason game 1. Ebiketie, I think he makes the team because of depth. I know he's definitely going to be a first or second string player. He's definitely no smaller than a second string player. But Philip, Cody, I'll ask you the same question here. Ebiketie, Malone, could it be a possibility that one of these players don't make the roster? Keep it a buck.
I personally feel like Malone will be the one to go. To be honest with you, we've got so much at that spot, or really on the line. Really, we got. If you think about it, look, we could go on for about good 15, 20 minutes naming every single player. We have a lot of people on that line.
Exactly.
Malone, don't get me wrong. He's had his moments where he's like, you could tell he can be, a certain player in NFL. But I just don't feel like I don't feel like he makes it this year. I really don't.
And it's a very possibility.
I like the guy, though. Don't get me wrong. But, it's tough. But, it has to happen.
Cody, question rolls over to you now, sir. You look at this roster, as Philip said, the depth is crazy when it comes to these line, possibly deeper than you've had last 4 seasons here for the Atlanta Falcons. Dave says, what an indictment on Ebiketie. Either him or Malone or both might not make the roster this year. Cody, is it a possibility that maybe one of these players do not make the roster?
I don't see Ebiketie not being on this roster this year. It is, could have happened. Yeah, absolutely. But if I had to say anybody was on that bubble, it would definitely be Malone. Like you said, I haven't seen enough, preseason, regular season, to say that, yeah, he needs, he deserves a roster spot. Ebiketie is definitely, I really feel like they're really trying to push Ebiketie to be something special, but I don't think he would be left off this roster, not this year anyways.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think it would be tough to see Ebiketie not make the roster. He's definitely no lower than a second string. If Judon perhaps takes more of his snaps than what Ebiketie does, then so be it.
Hey,
I will rock with Ebiketie as a rotation.
We're forgetting the other side though. Judon could possibly
Zach Harrison.
I'm not even thinking about Zach Harrison. It's what's his name? Oh, dog, Zoe. He might take Zoe's spot.
Lorenzo Carter. Philip, the puzzle pieces are clicking, dude. I'm so glad you just said that name here on the podcast. That's why you see Lorenzo Carter preseason game week 1 on the field.
Testing it out, bro.
Then the Braylon Trice news comes out. So, okay, we're getting weak. We see Braylon Trice getting reps with the first team, getting reps with the second team all offseason. So then you go and trade for the Judon. Philip, you just broke out Terry's whole fucking mastermind plan right here.
Call me Philip the Prophet, man.
Millie
like
Mills,
that.
yes, people are sleeping on Kevin King. He was balling before he got hurt. Wallace Smith here in the chat said Kevin King is going to make the roster because he has ties playing under Green Bay. Absolutely. He says, I've been on him all this offseason. Philip loved what he's seen the other night. After halftime, we did the podcast. It got kind of late, had work, kind of went to bed after the game. But Wallace, you bring up a good point. Kevin King has been all over the field this offseason. AK will make the roster. Malone could be in jeopardy of being cut. Absolutely.
That's what I see.
Atlanta Falcons Pandemic says Atlanta is now hot Atlanta again, man. Shout out to Atlanta Falcons Pandemic. I think this team can be special, man. I really do. I think this team can be one for the books if everybody can stay healthy. Obviously, the injury bug has hit, and it's hit hard here in the first half.
It's hit hard, but at least it's not as bad as it has been.
Well, now that you've brought in these pieces, Falcon fans can breathe again. You brought in a Judon that's going to kind of help replace a Braylon Trice. And I don't want to be rude by saying this a bit because I rock with Helms and I rock with, what's his name? Braylon Trice. I'm big on Braylon Trice.
I thought you already said that.
No, I'm saying I like both players. I like Braylon Trice and I like DeMarco Holmes. Both guys. But if you've got a Judon, if you sign a Justin Simmons, you possibly have an upgrade over what you was going to have starting. Am I correct? I mean, it may work out for the better.
But that's another thing. Judon can possibly help. The Braylon Trice out, young guy, learning. Come back, just
She's gaming in the chat. Says Bronco fan here, but I love to see the Atlanta run their division again. Damn, absolutely, Bronco.
I love that comment. Somebody screenshot that.
Shout out to Chiefs Game. I'll give you a question because you have been a supporter here for the channel for quite a minute. I've seen you in the comment section. Your quarterback. How do you feel about your quarterback? He's ranked right now as one of the best rookies preseason debut. Number 2 on the roster list, or number 2 on the ranking list. The name's Bo Nix. Bo Nix.
He's done his thing, man.
Mine Phillips Pops was a big supporter of Nix. Said Nix was going to be possibly the best quarterback to come out of this draft class. Pop said that.
Bo done his thing, bro.
Been pretty right on a lot of things. But Bo Nix, I mean, Chiefs Gaming, let me know in the chat. I'm bringing you a question so you can stay active here with DFU. Do you like the quarterback selection? Do you like what you've seen? If not, who will the Broncos rock with as their quarterback? Obviously, J.J. McCarthy out for the season. He's out for the season. So they go and sign a Sam Darnold. I see ghost. Sam Darnold in Minnesota. Falcon fans, that's a dog walk. I'm sorry, but that's a dog walk. Don't get me in my zone. LaMarcus Boyd in the chat said, right on. Atlanta Falcon Fandemic said, Judon changes the dynamic of this defense like Kirk Cousins changes it for the offense. Absolutely. Cody Phillip, as soon as it broke news and I sent it to the group chat, what did I tell you guys? This is big. This is big. This is possibly the best signing you've had all offseason. This is huge. Other than Kirk Cousins, obviously. Kirk Cousins was a huge part. Any other signing that you think was huge that Terry pulled off this season? Or are we content with what he's done? Is my question to you two.
Say that question again.
Yeah, you were on your phone. You weren't listening.
I was listening, but I don't know. I'm kind of dyslexic.
I was saying, who do you think was the best pickup this offseason? Or are you satisfied with what Terry's done this offseason? Or was there a move you wanted him to make?
Best pickup, I'll be honest with you, man. I feel like I'm not gonna lie to you, it might sound crazy. And honestly, it's not crazy to us fans, but a lot of people didn't agree with it at first. But I'm kind of glad we went and got Penix number 1 overall. That was my favorite thing. I mean, looking at it now, just say something just didn't turn out right. We got what we got this guy that's here now, and we've seen what he can do. I feel comfortable, and if say Kirk went down, and God, I pray that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? I don't hope anything like that happens, man. So, but I'm comfortable for him coming in that he will do the damn thing, bro. Like he can come in and win us some games, possibly take us to playoffs. You know what I mean? I feel that comfortable. He just seems like he's ready already, but you know, he's getting years to learn behind Kirk. That's going to help make him even better. So, that's my favorite pick.
Absolutely. Cody, the question rolls over to you, sir, before we wrap up this podcast and give our shout-outs for tonight. Who was the steal that Terry stole you with this offseason? Now, he just sold you and he was like, okay, now the Falcons are back. The Falcons are going to go win this thing. Or is there a move that you were hoping Terry was going to take that he didn't take? Cody, your thoughts.
No, easily is Kirk Cousins. So if I had, to me, Kirk just makes this team a Super Bowl contender, man. You're only as good as your quarterback is, and that has been proven time and time again in the NFL. And Kirk is that guy, man. We've seen it in practice. We're seeing it. We saw it when he played with the Vikings and how garbage their offensive line was, and look at what he did last year. Kirk is by far Terry's greatest signing for this football team. I know that Dudan is going to be special, but Kirk is going to win football games, man. Don't get me wrong. I think Dudan will too, but man, it's just got to be Kirk Cousins, man, because as soon as he showed up, everything changed. Everything changed when Kirk Cousins showed up here.
Absolutely.
That's why he's the GOAT.
Comment section here from Atlanta Falcon fan that says, at Cody, spot on about Kirk. Absolutely. He was the signing that really solidified this season, I feel like. And I really think this team, as I've said it numerous times here on these live podcasts, I think this team could be special this year, and I really mean that as a Falcon fan. Even looking out, speaking to other friends at work, on the internet that may be fans of other teams, even they respect what they see this Atlanta Falcon team coming to. So if any I got something here for the comment section. If any Panther fan, any Saints fan, or any Buccaneers fan, if any three of those fans are happening to see this video or sees this afterwards, hit me up because I really want to do Falcon, Bucks, Saints, all that. I want to do an NFC South podcast here. I want to have a roundtable debate, honest opinion debate on who has the better offense, better defense, et cetera, and have a real genuine talk about the NFC South and each person's views on their team. So if you know people that are Panther fans or Buccaneer fans or Saints fans, send them this video and see if they would be interested in doing that. Philip may not make the show because Philip is just a diehard Falcon fan and he likes to get mad when he talks with division rivals. So if you want to talk Falcon football, NFC South Division football, please message me on Facebook because we can definitely make that happen here on the podcast. Philip, Cody, before we get ready to close this thing out, man, give me your shout-outs for tonight, or if there's any other topic you two have on your mind that you want to speak about before we go, please bring it up.
Other than getting ready for Saturday morning, boys.
Saturday morning live. Probably an hour before the game. The game's at what, 10:30?
10 a.m. something like that.
12.
10 a.m. 12? Okay.
Yeah, it's at 12.
12. Okay, so we'll be live at 11.
10.
Oh, they were saying 12 on the radio all day today.
12 it is. So we'll be up live at 11. Catch Dirty Fanatics United Saturday. We will not be live this Friday. Only being is because we will be at the high school football game, man. About Pirates versus Ware County. Definitely gonna make it. So no podcast this Friday, but catch us Saturday. Saturday at 11 o'clock. DFU will be live.
Can't confirm it is at 12.
It is, yes. I just checked it again. It was at 10, but they changed it. Thank God.
If Cody and Philip, if you guys want to run a podcast Friday, you're more than welcome. I can leave the handle to one of you guys and y'all can run it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Philip,
hey, my first topic, we hating on every NFC South team. There we go.
Well, that may be a thing, so stay tuned. We may be live Friday night. Philip and Cody coming at you live.
It depends if I'm there too. I don't know yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll let you know. Well, it may be a pop-up show Friday, but be sure to tune in Saturday live, talking Falcon football. Falcon fans, you are listening to Dirty Fanatics United, episode 84, bringing you your shout-outs now. Philip, Cody, shout-outs for tonight.
Man, I'm always blessed. Shout out to God, man. Whatever it is, I'll find a way for anything. Shout out to God, man. Shout out to you two for being here. Shout out to everybody in the comment section, man. Blessed to see every single thing that y'all got to say, or whether it's a question, point of view, whatever. Shout out to the team coming out to this game Saturday. It's gonna be a good little time. I feel like we're gonna see a little bit more of second teams and maybe a little bit of Kurt this weekend. I feel like that's what I'm feeling. If I see it,
Kirk Cousins
you heard it from here.
Preseason? What?
You heard it here first. But shout out to the team.
To the viewers, Philip. You're capping to the viewers. They're not gonna chance it. Kirk Cousins not in the preseason. Maybe.
We ain't fixing to have another. We're not fixing to have another. What's his name? Smith problem. We're not fixing to beat him again. Okay, we're gonna test out these players early. Okay, but shout out to the team, man. As always, rise up, baby.
Absolutely, Cody. Shout out for tonight, brother.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the viewers. Comment section was on fire tonight, guys. So it was awesome. Keep liking, videos. We're gonna keep pushing out Falcon content. We're on the march to 1,000 subscribers, man. So I'm definitely excited. Shout out to you two for coming on a Wednesday night and talking Dirty Bird football. It's always good to talk about our Falcons, and it's just always a blast. But it's just great, man. I love doing this. So always rise up, fellas.
Already.
So shout out to my co-hosts, man. Shout out to Philip and Cody. Looking to add to one more spot, man. Possibly Robert Stevens, possibly whoever else wants to get here and do their interview here for DFP.
If you hate the Panthers as much as I do, yeah, you welcome.
Absolutely. Atlanta Falcon Pandemic, he loves hate week. In fact, it wasn't even hate week, and he almost got me in a fight in the bins. That's another story for another night, man. Shout out to all the Atlanta Falcon fans that tuned in tonight. Shout out to everybody that left a comment here in the comment section. Shout out to Cheats Gaming, a Broncos fan supporting an Atlanta Falcon fan podcast. Shout out to Cheats Gaming, man. Much love to you, sir, wherever you may be at. Next podcast, everybody tuning in, give me your season ticket section so we can meet up this year, man. Falcon fans, shout out to you guys for tuning in. Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons for giving us something to be happy about this season, man. Something to be proud of. Something to look forward to week 1 in the bins against the Steelers. Falcon fans, this is episode 84 in the books. As always, I'm your host, Chase. My co-host, Philip and Cody, man. We out of here. Rise up. A-Town down. Peace out.